Something that's crazy. I have had the weirdest dream. I thought to myself, man, what's the likelihood of that happening in real life? And the dream was me one day finding somebody who is a great friend, right? What I presume was a friend, or not a foe, but just somebody. It was kind on the street, right? Just a total stranger, but it was kind in person. Went to war, and I remember I asked him, "What war?" And he asked me, "What war did you?" And I was like, "What?" And suddenly, I just had this dread that someone was behind me, like the strangest dread and fear that somebody was directly behind me. Directly, right? And then out of nowhere, I didn't look behind me. I just said, "Well, tell me first." And I stood there with the most fear in my heart. I swear I woke up like a second later, but I was so tired I went immediately back to sleep. Because I realized, oh, it's a dream. Never mind. But the dream continued because it was only a half second. I woke up. It was like a brief in and out and stitch. Then the strangest thing happened. I was, from the perspective of that guy, seeing myself, asking him the same question, and I saw behind me nobody. Just nobody, but I looked dreadful. I looked anguish and fear. But the strangest thing, that guy didn't look like me, right? And then suddenly, I walked away. But when I went behind, this weird perspective shift, as I walked past me, and then suddenly I looked down and there was somebody in my shadow, almost like a pond. And I swear, it looked at me and said, "Well, what war?" And I swear to God, I mean, I'm schizophrenic, right? So my dreams are always weird, and I see things. So, well, I hear things, I don't see things. So when I went through that, connection, oh, this is a schizophrenic delusion, that was my connection when I was sleeping. It wasn't, like in my head, because I thought I was not sleeping, I was in a lucid dream. So I looked down, right, said this, and I don't know what compulsed me, but I thought what the dream was about was an earlier fear that I had during, like an early schizophrenic fear I had when I was much younger in my first stages of schizophrenia, which was being mind controlled, not by the government, but rather just by another person. Like, I can't explain what the fear was, but it was like someone else driving my body and my intrusive thoughts making me do things, and I thought that was mind control or something or another. But I thought, oh, this must be a schizophrenic delusion. That guy wasn't me. I am this guy. But I just leaned into it. Like, okay, the war. And that was it. And I woke up. And I don't get what the dream was about. And I know this is such a strange thing to share a dream, but I'm going to start logging my dreams in my videos. And I'm just going to do an update on every dream I have. But I had a series of dreams, not about war, but about me meeting a person. And I almost always, to some relation, have to do something. I don't, not do something, but rather find out what the person was about. Like why that person did that thing. So for example, right, a really scary, schizophrenic delusion I had was that, I'd get into a relationship with somebody, whether it be friendship, something or other, and they turn on me, like, twist a knife in my back, or it'd be any form of turning. It'd be murderous intent to just straight up hurting me physically, but just that fear of not wanting to meet, that, like, it was probably derivative of my antisocialness, right? But I never had a fear of not trusting anybody. I was never a trust freak. But always a series of thoughts that someone betrayed me in my dreams. I don't get it. I don't have any form of betrayal in my, history. I don't have any bad friends. I hope not. I mean, I don't really need to say that. I do. Wait. What I meant to say is I do not. Right. Anyways, but, like, it doesn't make any sense. And the dude I was talking to wasn't faceless, but unrecognizable. And I had another dream. It was similar to a dream I found online, but where I was sitting in front of my laptop, and I said, and the laptop opened a quiz, and it said, are you the spider or are you the web? Or no, it wasn't, no, that was the guy's dream online. But my dream said, are you the fly or are you the horse? Are you the leech or are you the match? I didn't get it. And so I just closed the laptop, went to bed in the dream. But then I had a dream inside the dream. Where I swear to God, I wasn't there. Like, I wasn't in my dream yet, but I was dreaming. I don't know how to explain this. But I have a ton of different dreams. And overall, I want to say the creepiest one I've had while being schizophrenic, or while being diagnosed as schizophrenic, I probably always had it, was probably the one where I grew old, not knowing anything. Like, I became like early dementia, I guess, or like a fog. I had a vision, because once again, when I first got schizophrenia, I saw things. I had like weird visions, blurry haze. Like, when you daydream, you kind of see, like, your vision goes cloudy and you kind of imagine, and you're on your little playground of imagination. I was having those kind of visions, and one of the visions was me sitting in a rocking chair saying, boy, get me the sandwich or something or other. Boy, like, I was old, and this was after a series of events of me coming in and out of consciousness and having a bright light in front of me, like headlights, and I could barely see them like 10 feet from me, and beyond that was pure light. And I swear to God, when I focused into the vision, I became more sensible in the world, but at the cost of my sanity. And I didn't like that, so I withdrew, and it ended with me just getting a sandwich, and the boy, which was not a boy, it was a near adult man, said, man, I can't keep taking care of you. And it wasn't like a relative, it looked like a friend, or like a niece or nephew, but of like a niece, as in like I'd be their godfather, or like, how people would say uncle if they're friends with their dad, kind of like that, like a friend's kid. But they looked as if they were like sorry for me. Like, my God, I was completely taken over. Blinding light. And there was another vision of someone. I was in my dream home, my camper van. And I swear to you, this person seemed like somebody I would be not friends with, but enemies with. Like, sorry if I'm blurting out, it's really early in the morning, so I'm very tired. But someone I'd be enemies with, right? And I swear to you, they gave me the deepest sigh and said, man, I feel sorry for you, because you don't know what's going on. And all my trophies of like different trophies of offense, like, this was moments before going senile, and this person knew what was really going on. Like, I wasn't having dementia, I was actually being, once again, going back to controlled, and, fearing of being controlled. So, like, what do I do? I mean, I don't have the fear anymore, but I'm still having night terrors. So, what do you do against night terrors? I mean, I'm keeping a log, but some of my dreams are really out there. I mean, can you share any of your weird dreams in the comments? You can do that, but I think the strangest was definitely the man asking the Lord to me, and me being terrified seeing my own face, and the puddle being asking me a question. Because I constantly hear something. The current story, because there's always a story going on, but it's overarching, so it's like I'm pouncing between different voices, right? Different characters. And as I bounce, I'm ruining their life somehow, taking them over, and they get frustrated with me and say, hey, I was taken over by you 2 years ago. So I've taken this person who is being currently controlled, and I'm going to swap them with you. I'm going to get them as close as possible with you, henceforth where the vision started. Anyways, but sorry, I have to put this in 2 parts. But or maybe just one whole video. I haven't decided yet, but definitely those dreams have disturbed me. But I do have one question. Anyways, back to the main thing. The story keeps changing, and that's where I started having visions of my future self. Then it was to a partner or a friend. This time, like a full relationship. And I don't really plan on dating, so yeah. But I definitely think what happened was disturbing enough where I can't say it, but they had murderous intent towards the partner. And then they had an idea, I'll just have them in control. And when I previously did, I used to, not scream out loud, but I used to have a yelly inside voice. Like, I couldn't bear it because of how much it squawked. Like, it was like me screaming outside, but inside my own brain. Now it's calm. Now it's just the normal thought voice. But it used to be so screamy. And does anyone else have this? Where their voice in their head is super duper screamy? I don't know. But if you also had that as a symptom, I had that as well. But anyways, the dude was really smart and strategic about it. Got me, but I fixed it using various calming strategies, which is weird. Like, if I do certain things, and some things, if I like go and imagine a little bit, it will help. Some things, if I lose a little sanity, it will calm me. I know that's a very bad strategy. I know that's a horrible strategy. I don't do it often. But if I'm a really bad pickle, alright, I'm already down on the deep end and there's no saving me. If I just take a little sanity and lean into it to calm myself, it's better than going full insane, because it's just always better. I've noted this down. I've actually kept track of the pros and cons. I know for a fact that if I just lean into it just a little bit, just to keep me sane enough, like, I don't know, it's like I lose my disillusion reality, but by disillusioning it, I stop any physical harm. So I know that's like going catatonia state, but it's more just like, it's better to have mental damage for me, because the mental damage I can full on take, mainly because my pills. But physical damage to my body, I can't. It just makes me feel way too bad about myself. But, so partner had horrible life because of the mind control thing. Tomato. And I guess this is just kind of warning to anybody out there. If you do find me and this is the truth about reality, if my dreams reflect some kind of weird alternate future. Okay, location change, because my phone died. But, you know, I don't get what my dreams mean. Here's another weird little dream. I was in, like, oh, and by the way, 3 predictions my weird visions or whatever said that aren't true. Some disease of some form of rabies that is airborne, and some disease, like a disease that combines diseases, if that makes sense. Like, let's say I had a stomach flu and the combined disease mixed with another thing, and they would combine the diseases together and make it airborne. So rabies became airborne. There's a parasite on them, one level being above microscopic, and it's 3 parts. 3 whole parts. Right? The world goes insane. Just absolutely insane. Different factions arise, and people have to choose the faction. Like the Tombstone Raiders. Apparently whatever the banana jams or whatever that baseball team gets involved, the gauntlets. And Markiplier says this in quotes, and I can't believe my weird schizophrenic delusions imagine this up in a dream or whatever. But he says, the Bulls, the Raiders, the Bulls, the Raiders, and then he goes, the Bulls. I'm not gonna do it too loud, but the Bulls, and then he goes, the Raiders, the Bulls, the Raiders, the whole shebang. And then he clicked either on the Bulls, then it's not the Bulls, it's the Raiders, the Bulls, the Raiders, the Bulls. It starts with Raiders, the Bulls, the Raiders, the Bulls, the Raiders, and then he goes back into it. But then, like, there's a whole thing with your waist where it gives you a horde, bad, digestive problems. So waste becomes incredibly harmful, like almost radioactive in a way. And basically the parasite, there's a parasite that's on one level above microscopic, right? And it's 3 parts. It's a mosquito crab. No, not a mosquito crab. That's what it infects. It's some kind of crab. It's a mosquito, I know for sure. It's got these 2, in spores, there's eyes that stick out, and then they're ball eyes with a little stick. It's like 2 black spore eyes is going this direction in a sort of this direction, and then they meet at a point, and then a little, it's hard to explain, sort of proboscis, sort of mosquito proboscis, like a butterfly mouth, not a butterfly mouth, but how to explain it? I'm not sure. Anyways, the eyes are actually they're eyes, but they're also butts, and they explode. Hence for the digestive problems, because they reproduce the last thing they've eaten. So it can do anything biological. If it eats a metal, however, it just kind of slowly, makes a drill out of it, because it refines it kind of. Like, it makes it into a needle-like thing. Like a whole needle.
And when they infect bugs, because they can't infect anything above their thing, because there's just nothing big enough, because they just eat it. However, they combine to each other, because they're all three parasites. They can infect one thing that's higher above them, but making them slightly bigger, but not big enough, until water bears get involved. And they can infect water bears somehow. They might be microscopic, I don't remember, but they can fully go into because they can only infect one thing higher. They can infect water bears, because those are big enough. Water bears are big enough. Sorry, memory loss. Water bears were the answer to getting bigger. So, basically they infect the water bears, which infect another thing, and they get into mosquitoes, wasps. So the big ones are wasps, mosquitoes. What else? Wasps, mosquitoes. They turn mosquitoes blue. Wasp, ants, mosquitoes. It's never butterflies, which is weird. Weirdly, never butterflies. Note that down. But they all have these rabies, and it turns into this weird, like, we love tapeworms. And they, like, full on go through the head of a mosquito. It's this large mosquito, though. And it has, like, this tapeworm body. So the head is this big. And then there's a tapeworm. And inside that head is an ant with no eyes and no antennas, just these big mandibles, like thick mandibles. Like, if I had to size them, they're like this big versus the ant, which is this big. Like a tiny ant, huge mandibles. Tiny ant, huge mandibles. And, I just wanted to, I know this is supposed to be a dream video, but I just wanted to also add these little tidbits to your nightmares. But a tapeworm that attaches to two other tapeworms for legs, and it's all wiggly, and that's how it evolves. It evolves into an ant that controls bigger bugs, but the tapeworm is its own creature, and it's a weird wiggly thing that can insert itself into legs, arms, and cockroaches. If it gets into a cockroach, that's its ultimate form, right? Like a cockroach, and so it can directly drill into a person's back or neck, because once again they can refine metal into a stinger-like thing, and they have a stinger that numbs you, just numbs you. It's a full-on thing where it numbs you, and then bam. And quantum physicists go crazy. Specifically quantum physicists, the end of the world goes about, because they're stingers, because they love to fly into mouths and destroy themselves. They love to go into places that kill them, so they become like bugs that can fly into fryers for some reason, and pizzas, but pizza dough, specifically dough. They love yeast. And the reason this experiment sort of, like, because they were created out of an experiment or something, like this genius girl and her friends, or not really friends, but her rivals, like Marvel, something to do with Marvel rivals at some point. They all like to play it. But there's these group of kids, right? They're super into science, right? I love science, dude. Love them. And they get a package from an old man that's like a clear little glass, and it's water bears, but something mysterious about it, like malicious, evil even. But it hurts them in a big way. And someone gets some organic goo or something into the experiment pod. So, there's that. What else? I would say that overall, the most horrifying thing about the story is that it all started on one malicious act from an old person to a younger person. Like, that always seems to be the story, like this family of people who I've, hurts because they're all voices in my head and I know they ain't real. But if I were to follow the story, I've controlled them in some way, leading them down a path, and something to do with cheesemakers and her mom making up this story of like, oh, it's just a bug, but really it's all metaphor for a schizophrenic person who really was being drugged, and she was just saying, oh, it's a stinger, you keep getting stung by a wasp and knocks you out, and they develop this schizophrenic fear because the mom wanted to be with someone else, but the abusive guy forced her into it. It was a whole thing, right? And that's the story. But like this schizophrenic person slowly, and I want to write a book about this called The Voice, slowly believes, but it's not really a stinger. It's like a drug or something, and it's like salvia or something. And it's this weird sort of combination of like, is it really the end of the world in this story, or is this one person's reality that bad? And they hate bees. Oh my god, do they have a loathe for bees. I love bees, but the person that I am following, the main person that I always come back to, hates bees. It has this weird perception that they can telepathically communicate, but really bees dance to communicate. But they hate bees, they hate wasps, bugs, but they grew up in this house full of it, full of bugs and all their worst fears. And, a lot of people struggle to similar degrees, but I don't know. If this person were real, I'd feel like my personal advice to anyone that might know that person, just put them out of their misery. Because if you've seen what I've seen out of their eyes to a degree, well, not really seen, but heard with their voice, slowly going from, oh, I'm a science, I love science, so this and that, I'm going to order water bears online with my mom, to the mother going very slowly into this sinister woman that wants to protect her child, but by doing so, she needs to let the abusive person be an abuser, which at that point you are just one and the same. But to anyone who skipped this far, just a recap, don't skip. Anyways, but the abuser being her mother, and it all being a metaphor for some kind of needle to the neck, and it's just a bee, it's just a bee, it's just a bee, it's just a bee, just a bee, it's just a bee, it's just a bee is what they'd say, or something or other. And they hate bees and hate wasps, but the only counter to it is a really powerful wasp that can kill other infected wasps, because they have these rabies, because everything got rabies. Everything. For some reason, everything has rabies, and it all started from something to do with, and here's the exact combination. I'm not sure what it means, but red, but really pink, because they're colorblind. Blue, but death blue, and unknown blue. Green, so green, it's backwards. What I've just recited is backwards. So green, blue, red, which is actually pink. So green, blue, red, and that backwards, but only pink, blue, but it's death blue and unknown blue, green, something other. But I would highly put that in. If someone could do a recap of everything I said in the comments, that'd be great. And if you do that, I might cash out. Well, no. If I ever get rich, maybe. But I will pin you in the comments. But green, this is important. Green, blue, pink. Well, not pink. It's green, blue, pink. ABB acne. No, not ABP acne. ABG agif. AGCA. No. AGNGA. No. ANGC. A-N-G-C, acne. That means something to someone. And go back 10 paces. Anyways, that's the entire video. But you know, there's a whole story and I would love to share it if anyone wants to hear it.